Let's talk about society. Now, society is something that makes us feel safe. It's something that makes us feel a part of a group, especially if we're in a society that we feel politically aligned with. Even if there's denominations within the society, we can basically choose the one that we want to be a part of and become a part of that society through the understanding that we choose, either through the influence of our family, friends, or society itself. And it makes us feel as if we are a piece of something bigger than ourselves. Not only safe in a group, but also something that is working towards a grander goal with everyone else. Society is the foundation of other species on this planet as well, not just human beings. And I believe in God, so a lot of people who also believe in God don't like the idea of us being another animal species, but we are, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that we are any less free to choose. It just means that we are very similar to the animals that exist on this planet. We are animal in basic nature. Now, as animals, we like to group up. That provides us with safety, that provides us with security, that provides us with identity. And the identity society provides us with, even if we choose to be kind of rebels in a society, that in and of itself is a relation to society, being rebels against society. So we always have a relation to society, unless we're someone who tries to have a relation to the cosmos beyond society, beyond even this planet, and we go off into the hills or the mountains or into the wilderness and meditate upon God, meditate upon truth, meditate upon things that are much bigger than this planet, than our race. And there is only one human race. All the different ideas of race, white, black, brown, these are aberrations. They are not true. There's only one race, and that's the human race. Anyone who wants to divide and get away from the human race and think of the cosmos, get in touch with the cosmos, they are not a part of society. And that's not to their detriment, that's to their liberation, but it's very hard to do. Now, when we think about society, it makes us feel safe. It makes us feel like nothing can harm us. It makes us feel like there is this buffer between us and death, in a sense, because we live on through not only our influence in society, but our children. Not only our children, but our contribution to other people in society. We tend to believe our work will continue on and last much longer than ourselves. But there are always those of us who really question the attention span of society, the ability for society to really see the individual for who they are. And now the individual will always question, the true individual will always question, why is everyone so focused on making themselves last? And it's not necessarily their soul they're trying to make last, or the essence of their being they're trying to make last. It's their influence in relation to society. And when we see people talking about their legacy, and I'm not talking about familial legacy, children or descendants. I'm talking about the influences we have in society. There is very little talk about what one believes as an individual. We described ourselves as being a part of this religion or that religion, as being of this political ideology or that political ideology, and most of us don't feel there's a lot of room to wiggle. It's safe to be a part of a political group or a religious group that has a certain set of rules, a certain set of doctrine. And this not only we feel a lot of the time, even if it's most of the time subconsciously, protects our legacy as far as political identity, and as far as religious identity. We feel that protects our spiritual legacy, but it doesn't make us an individual even spiritually, because spiritually we are each and every soul has a mission. Each and every soul has a specific frequency that it vibrates at, and one that will help everyone in a specific way. So we shouldn't focus so much as being a part of other people's spirituality as we should focus on being a person who can help everyone else in a specific way. We all have a very specific skill that has more to do with our identity beyond the flesh, our identity beyond the different groups we identify with, our identity beyond even the culture we're a part of. And we have to get in touch with that. We have to meditate upon that and find who we are on the deepest level. Now, everyone thinks about death. Death is a hell of a thing. It is the period to the sentence that is life. Death is also an addition to life, a partner of life. There could be no life without death. We understand life because death exists. If we did not have death, the world would be full. No one would value the time that they have because they could live forever. And even if the universe could contain all the life that would be produced over the millions and millions of years, if not, and billions that a universe exists, even then, we wouldn't hold great significance to what we are and this life that we have been granted. Whether if you think it's granted by a creator, a god, reality, the universe, or purely an accident, it's amazing that we have this life right now as we are, related to people that we are related to, being able to communicate with friends and the world itself in the way that we do, because it was so unlikely, especially when we look back on human history. The idea that we exist now, every individual, was just against all odds, but something had to happen, and we happened. Every single person happened. And this is why death is so important. It's important to think about. It's important to basically develop an opinion on, a perspective on, because life is so valuable when it has a limit. Anything is more valuable when it has a cap. If you had infinite gold, then you wouldn't have an idea of wealth. If you had infinite, I guess you could say, weapons even, defense tactics, then you would have no idea of other people's offense. The danger of not being able to meet a force in conflict. If you didn't have the idea of limited health, of not being healthy if you don't practice the right eating habits, exercise habits, and basically nutritional habits, then you wouldn't value what it is to feel well, to feel a healthy person, to feel as a whole person who doesn't and isn't afflicted by the illnesses of bad health. We wouldn't know these things without the lack, the ability to have the opposite. So we should value death very much. We should look at it with reverence, and in that way we can actually appreciate life much more. Graveyards are filled with people who were just like us. They had the same flaws, they had the same dreams, and they had the same ability to see past their limitations. But very few in that graveyard, any graveyard in the world, could really appreciate their significance separate from society. They're part of the puzzle that was very, very important in the cosmic scale of things, in the cosmic machine that lumbers forward to create more and more life, more and more space, more and more time in which the activity of energy can coalesce and expand. Very few people truly understand what it is to be an individual spiritually, in society, politically, religiously, which is a little bit different from spirituality, as I've explained in the past. So I urge you to examine yourself. See how you are different in society, what your mission could be, what your mission is. What has the cosmos engineered you to do, and will you meet that? Will you choose to live up to the fullest potential that you possibly can, or will you take halfway points? Will you meet up to only what society tells you you can do? This is your journey to go beyond the confines of society, and I would ask that you embrace yourself. Find yourself and embrace who you truly are. Only then can you find the true value, love, unity of all that is in the multiverse, in the universe, in the cosmos, however you want to say it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you find yourself.